Good afternoon and welcome. On behalf of each of the couples that are here, Nina and Denise, Bobby and Bunny, Peter and Ray, Florence and Linda, Deanna and Joyce, Steve and Stephen, Sarah and Carrie, Francis and Joe. On behalf of each of these beautiful, beautiful couples and individuals that are up here with me, I extend to each of you a very warm welcome. Welcome to this first of a kind marriage in the history of this congregation, making history in the state of New Jersey. We gather this afternoon in an important spiritual act. A wedding is about two individuals, in this case, 8 such couples, making vows to one another. But it's also about each and every one of us that is here today. As this ceremony unfolds, you will be witnesses to these couples as they express their commitments and in many cases recommitments to one another. And that act of witnessing is one of remembering and it's one of honoring. In remembering, you will be present to the vows that will be taken here today and help keep that memory alive in the days and the years ahead. And in helping honor the couples that stand before us, today you'll celebrate with them and in the years ahead support them in living their vows as fully as they're able. Marriage, as these couples know in spirit, and soon to be legally as well, is a beautiful and at times difficult commitment. And as witnesses, each of you here can be pillars of support to guide these marriages through whatever challenges may naturally occur. In turn, you'll also be the loved ones with whom they share the many wonderful memories that are still to come. And so it's in this spirit that I welcome each and every one of you here and invite you to enter the depth of this ceremony not as observers, but as true witnesses, as participants in all that will take place here, not just today, but in the days ahead and in the years ahead. Feeling the depth of our role here, each and every one of us, I'd like to take a moment of centering, a brief pause to ground ourselves in this moment. As we know all too well, on any given wedding day, there are many things that are happening, many logistical things that happen, many anxious things that may be on any of our minds, both for the couples here and those of us who are just here as witnesses. And so we want to take a brief moment to ground ourselves and bring ourselves fully present here in this spiritual act that will be unfolding. In support of that, I'd like to invite up Donna Renfro, who will be leading us in this morning's invocation.
You all have been married, many of you for a long time in your hearts already. As we gather now to have you legally wed, I offer you these words on marriage from Khalil Gibran in the Prophet. Love one another, but make not a bond of love. Let it rather be a moving sea between the shores of your souls. Fill each other's cup, but drink not from the same cup. Give one another of your bread, but not eat from the same loaf. Sing and dance and be joyous, but let each of you also be alone, even as the strings of a lute are alone, though they may quiver with the same music. Give your hearts, but not into each other's keeping, for only the hand of life can contain your hearts. And stand together, yet not too near together, for the temple pillars stand apart, and the oak tree and the cypress grow not in each other's shadow. Let there be spaces in your togetherness, and let the winds of heaven dance between you, now and forevermore.
spark that represents the spark of that sacred, the spark of the divine that exists within each of us, and certainly within the couples that we are honoring here this morning. It's traditional on an occasion such as this for the minister to offer a few words of reflection on the nature of marriage. And I can only imagine what each of you has been thinking, contemplating, reflecting on over the past week, as I know me and my husband Jeff have been equally so, reflecting, contemplating, and discussing. What is it? Is it a civil process codified in a piece of paper? Is it a sacrament imbued with profound spiritual meaning? Is it a social institution created by human beings to meet particular social and interpersonal needs? Is it all of this and perhaps so much more? I'll share with you a little secret. It's not so much of a secret, but I first legally got married in the state of Massachusetts when it became legal there in 2004. At that time, honoring and celebrating a relationship that had been 11 years long. And in so doing, I felt that, here's this piece of paper that we high well deserve. After already building and living a life together for so long, we're going to get the piece of paper that recognizes what we've already been doing, the way we've already been living. And so I entered into that marriage ceremony, to some degree holding in my heart that this is a formality and a legal process. And I'll tell you what I discovered very quickly, within hours and days after engaging in that ceremony, is that yes, it is a piece of paper. It is a legality. It is a formality. But it is so much more. What's happening here this afternoon is so much more than that. As each of you know all so well, it's reflective of commitments grounded in deep and abiding love. Many of you have already been through civil union ceremonies in this state, married in other states where it's legal. You know how deep and profound that love is that you already share, that has inspired and motivated you to build the lives together that you have been living. Along with that commitment, inevitably, as any married couple here could attest to, and as each of you can attest to, comes sacrifice. When we join our lives to another, it's full well with the understanding that we're not always going to get our way. We have to make compromises and sacrifices along the way. Two lives joining together and living as one means that you're building a life together, formed around that love, that commitment, and also negotiation, mutual decisions, and compromises and sacrifices along the way. Each of us here has done them many, many times in the course of building the lives that you have each built. And in thinking of those aspects of marriage, the commitment and the sacrifice, in many ways, what we've been doing as gay and lesbian couples in this state is so ordinary, so perfectly ordinary, and run-of-the-mill, and suburban, and just like every other family and couple in this state who has chosen to live in such way, making commitments and sacrifices in the sake of building a relationship and a life together. However, that's not the picture doesn't stop there, right? We know all too well that the picture of what our lives have looked like has not stopped with just that. While we have lived these ordinary day in, day out aspects of our lives, we've done so for years and in many cases decades amidst the backdrop of fear and rejection. From the very first time, whenever that time was, whatever age we were in our life, when we made that decision to first come out to somebody else, we had to wrestle with those questions long and hard in our hearts, feeling that anxiety, that pain, and that uncertainty. Is that person going to love me or are they going to reject me? And not knowing for sure what that answer was going to be. And we took that daring risk anyway, to be open about who we were and how we were going to live our life. And that one initial decision that we took that was so courageous and set us on the path, on the road to where we are now today, that first initial decision was then subsequently repeated day, after month, after year. Fighting and struggling to live in a nation where our lives and who we are as a human being is fully equal with just everybody else. Just everybody else. Many of you here, if not, I would say all of us here, that have reached this point, have struggled for years against institutions, against public officials, co-workers, bosses, supervisors, neighbors, who haven't understood, who have slighted, who have said cruel or insensitive things, who have reinforced that feeling inside of our hearts that we've known from the very beginning, that potential of rejection, that potential of uncertainty. We have fought against that. Each and everybody here has fought against that, long and hard, struggling with what it might mean to lose our jobs, lose our homes, to be kicked out of restaurants, to be told at a hotel or inn that you may not be welcome here, to be denied access in a hospital or in a doctor's office, to be denied financial benefits or other resources that we're well due, that every other couple has received. For the first time in the places where we live, in the state where we have chosen to build our lives together as families and as a community, for the first time in the state where we are building our lives, as well as at the federal level, those courageous acts day by day are finally being fully recognized, finally reaching their full fruition. It's huge. It's momentous. It matters tremendously. And taking into account that long, lifelong, decades-long struggle that each of us has had, this is much more than a formality. It's absolutely a spiritual affirmation, a moral affirmation, a social and cultural affirmation that we have reached an entirely new stage of gay and lesbian equality and rights in our state and nationally as well. With what we'll be embarking on here this afternoon, each of you steps onto the stage in a new way. Yes, the work of creating awareness will continue. Even as we begin to understand ourselves as spouses, as husbands, as wives, the work will nonetheless continue in helping create awareness and acceptance. That work may never cease. That may be here for the rest of our lives. But we do so, we continue now to embark on that work with the full 100% backing of our state and our federal government and their institutions. We know now full well what the right thing is and what rights we're entitled to, and that what the state and the federal government are saying is it's full applying, nothing short. So now when we undertake that work of creating awareness and acceptance, it won't be just us individually fighting for what we know to be morally right. We have the weight of our state and our nation behind us. That matters tremendously. That's much more than a piece of paper or formality. Even as we embark on 14 states and the District of Columbia recognizing the marriages, the legal weddings that will take place here this morning, that's such a small part of this nation, 14 states in the district. So many more states don't yet have this. So many more couples still struggling. Each of you here now steps onto that national stage. As others across this country will seek to understand, what does it mean that couples in New Jersey, same-sex couples or spouses, husbands and wives, what does that mean? They will look to you. They will look to you for an example of what that means and what it means for the rest of this country, what it means for every part of this country. Getting married here today is indeed about each of you as a couple, your commitment and sacrifices that you have been making for a long time to one another. It's about the spiritual and moral recognition of long struggles to get to this point. And it's also about setting an example that others around this nation can admire, respect, and look up to. And as they do so, realize in their hearts, this too can come to other parts of the country. It can come to Pennsylvania, to Texas, to Louisiana, to wherever it doesn't yet currently exist. It is my distinct honor and privilege this afternoon to be legally, spiritually, morally, culturally, and in every other way possible marrying each of you. Thank you for the bravery, for the courage that each of your lives represents, and together as a couple, the life that you have built together represents. I invite us to take a brief pause to to reflect on the nature of marriage and this ceremony, this historic and beautiful ceremony that we're undertaking here this afternoon. And as we do that, we have some special music that members of the choir will be offering. We begin to move now into the promises we'll be making to one another this afternoon. And as we do so, we begin by affirming that each of you here has freely chosen to be with one another, that you've chosen each other of your own accord. And so I'll just ask for a group affirmation of that. If you would affirm for me that each of you are entering into this exchange of vows as an act of your own free will, as a sign of your commitment to one another. If so, please signify by saying, I do. Wonderful. I invite us all now to join hearts as well as spirits as our couples individually exchange vows. When I call your names, I invite you to come right before me, right up front, and we'll engage in this exchange of vows, each couple one at a time. Nina Scarpa and Denise Monson. Hold hands, look deeply into each other's eyes. Hear these promises and know that these promises are being made just for you. Nina, if you repeat after me. I, Nina.
I, Nina.
Take you, Denise.
Take you, Denise.
To be my lawfully wedded wife.
To be my lawfully wedded wife.
To have and to hold.
To have and to hold.
From this day forward.
From this day forward.
For better or for worse.
For better or for worse.
For richer or for poorer.
For richer or for poorer.
In sickness and in health.
In sickness and in health.
To love and to cherish.
To love and to cherish.
Through times of joy.
Through times of joy.
And times of sorrow.
And times of sorrow.
For the rest of our days.
For the rest of that.
Nina, if you repeat after me. Sorry, Denise. If you repeat after me. I, Denise, take you, Nina, to be my lawfully wedded wife.
To be my lawfully wedded wife.
To have and to hold.
Have and to hold.
From this day forward.
From this day forward.
For better or for worse.
For better and for worse.
For richer or for poorer.
For richer and for poorer.
In sickness and in health.
In sickness and in health.
To love and to cherish.
Love and to cherish.
Through times of joy.
Through times of joy.
And times of sorrow.
And times of sorrow.
For the rest of our days.
For the rest of our days.
You've chosen to exchange rings, so I invite you to have your rings ready. Nina, if you repeat after me. Denise, I give you this ring.
Denise, I give you this ring.
As a symbol and reminder.
As a symbol and reminder.
Of my abiding love for you.
Of my abiding love for you.
Denise, have ring ready for me. Nina, I give you this ring.
I give you this ring.
As a symbol and reminder.
Symbol and reminder.
Of my abiding love for you.
Of my abiding love for you.
You bring your ring hands together. In the name of that divine energy that is the source of us all, may these rings always, always serve as a reminder of the vows and commitments that you undertake here today. Be so. Bobby, please. I should have hold those hands. Look at one another. Thank you. And I invite you to repeat after me. I, Bobby, take you, Bunny, to be my lawfully wedded wife, to have and to hold, from this day forward, for better or for worse, for richer or for poorer, in sickness and in health, for love and to cherish, through times of joy and times of sorrow, for the rest of our days. Diane, just repeat after me. I, Bunny, take you, Bunny, to be my lawfully wedded wife, to have and to hold, from this day forward, for better or for worse, for richer or for poorer, in sickness and in health, to love and to cherish, through times of joy and times of sorrow, for the rest of our days. You've chosen to bless the rings that you're already wearing. I invite you to bring your ring hands together. In the name of that divine energy that is the source of us all, bless these rings. May they serve as a strong and faithful reminder of the vows and commitments you will be taking here today, now and for always. Amen. Peter Jackson and my wave. Deeply in line with these arms. Know that these promises are being made just for you. Peter, I invite you to repeat after me. I, Peter, take you, Ray, to be my lawfully wedded husband, to have and to hold, from this day forward, for better or for worse, for richer or for poorer, in sickness and health, to love and to cherish, through times of joy, in times of sorrow, for the rest of our days. Ray, I invite you to repeat after me. I, Ray, take you, Peter, to be my lawfully wedded husband, to have and to hold, from this day forward, for better or for worse, for richer or for poorer, in sickness and in health, to love and to cherish, through times of joy and times of sorrow, for the rest of our days. You've chosen to bless the rings that you're already wearing, and you can bring your ring hands together. In the name of that divine energy that is the source of us all, may these rings serve as a strong and faithful reminder of the vows and commitments you are going to be taking here today, now and forevermore. Be so. Florence Wool and Linda Belmont. Let you face one another, hold hands at you, look into one another's eyes. Florence, if you would repeat after me. I, Flo, take you, Linda, to be my lawfully wedded spouse, to have and to hold, from this day forward, for better or for worse, for richer or for poorer, in sickness and in health, to love and to cherish, through times of joy and times of sorrow, for the rest of our days. Linda, I invite you to repeat after me. I, Linda, take you, Flo, to be my lawfully wedded spouse, to have and to hold, from this day forward, for better or for worse, for richer or for poorer, in sickness and in health, to love and to cherish, through times of joy and times of sorrow, for the rest of our days. We've chosen to re-exchange the rings that we've been wearing. I invite you, Flo, to repeat after me. Linda, I give you this ring as a symbol and reminder of my abiding love for you. And Linda, I invite you to repeat after me. Flo, I give you this ring as a symbol and a reminder of my abiding love for you. I invite you to bring your ring hands together for a blessing. In the name of that divine energy that is the source of us all, May these rings serve as a strong and as a faithful reminder of the vows and commitments you have undertaken here this afternoon, now and forevermore. May be so. Joyce Koch. Hear these promises that are being made just for you. Deanna, if you repeat after me. I, Deanna,
I can
take you, Joyce,
take you, Joyce,
to be my lawfully wedded wife,
to be my lawfully wedded wife,
to have and to hold,
to have and to hold
from this day forward,
from this day forward,
for better or for worse,
for better or for worse,
for richer or for poorer,
for richer or for poor,
in sickness and in health,
in sickness and in health,
to love and to cherish,
to love and to cherish,
through times of joy
through times of joy
and times of sorrow,
and times of sorrow,
for the rest of our days.
for the rest of our days.
Joyce, if you repeat after me. I, Joyce,
I, Joyce,
take you, Deanna,
take you, Deanna,
to be my lawfully wedded wife,
to be my lawfully wedded wife,
to have and to hold,
to have and to hold
from this day forward,
from this day forward,
for better or for worse,
for better and for worse,
for richer or for poorer,
for richer and for
in sickness and in health,
in sickness and in health,
to love and to cherish,
to love and to cherish,
through times of joy
of joy,
and times of sorrow,
times of sorrow,
for the rest of our days.
for the rest of our days.
You've chosen to bless me, the rings you're ever wearing. You can bring those hands together. In the name of that divine energy that is the source of us all, may these rings serve as a strong and faithful reminder of the vows and the commitments you've undertaken here today, now and forevermore. Be so. Steve Burke and Stephen Drake, I want you to look into each other's eyes. Hear these promises that are being made just for you. Steve, if you repeat after me. I, Steve, take you, Stephen, to be my lawfully wedded husband, to have and hold from this day forward, for better or for worse, for richer or for poorer, in sickness and in health, to love and to cherish, through times of joy and times of sorrow, for the rest of our days. Stephen, repeat after me. I, Stephen, take you, Steve, to be my lawfully wedded husband, to have and to hold, from this day forward, for better or for worse, for richer or for poorer, in sickness and in health, to love and to cherish, through times of joy and times of sorrow, for the rest of our days. You've chosen to re-exchange the rings that you've been previously wearing. You take the rings out. Steve, if you repeat after me. Stephen, I give you this ring as a symbol and a reminder of my abiding love for you. Place the ring on his finger. Stephen, if you repeat after me. Steve, I give you this ring as a symbol and a reminder of my abiding love for you. And place the ring on his finger. So bring your hands together. In the name of that divine energy that is the source of us all, may these rings serve as a strong and faithful reminder of the vows and commitments you undertaken here today, now and forevermore. Be so. Amen. Sarah Schmidt, Carrie Hogan. Having been lawfully wedded in the state of New York, it is my honor and privilege to legally marry you in the state of New Jersey. Carrie, I invite you to repeat after me. Look into each other's eyes deeply, hear these promises, and know that they're being made just for you. I, Carrie, take you, Sarah, to be my lawfully wedded spouse, to have and to hold, from this day forward, for better or for worse, for richer or for poorer, in sickness and in health, to love and to cherish, through times of joy and times of sorrow, for the rest of our days. Sarah, if you repeat after me. I, Sarah, take you, Carrie, to be my lawfully wedded spouse, to have and to hold, from this day forward, for better or for worse, for richer or for poorer, in sickness and in health, to love and to cherish, through times of joy and times of sorrow, for the rest of our days. You've chosen to bless the rings you're currently wearing. If you bring your ring hands together, in the name of that divine energy that is the source of us all, we bless these rings. May they be a strong and faithful reminder of the vows and commitments we want to take in here today, now, and forevermore. So. Legally married in the state of Massachusetts, it is my pleasure and privilege to marry you legally in the state of New Jersey. Francis, if you repeat after me, look into each other's eyes and hear these words. I, Francis, take you, Joe, to be my lawfully wedded wife, to have and to hold, from this day forward, for better or for worse, for richer or for poorer, in sickness and in health, to love and to cherish, through times of joy and times of sorrow, for the rest of our days. And Joe, if you repeat after me. I, Joe, take you, Francis, to be my lawfully wedded wife, to have and to hold, from this day forward, for better or for worse, for richer or for poorer, in sickness and in health, to love and to cherish, through times of joy and times of sorrow, for the rest of our days. You've chosen to bless the rings you're already wearing. You bring your hands together. In the name of that divine energy that is the source of us all, may these rings serve as a strong and faithful reminder of the promises and commitments you've undertaken here today. May it be so. Amen. Reverend Julianne Silverman Buck will be leading us in prayer of blessing on the vows and commitments that have been spoken here this morning by each couple.
I invite each couple to turn to their partner and to hold hands. Take a look at your partner's hands. Hold them palm up. These are the hands that will wipe away your tears. These are the hands that will caress you as you fall asleep at night. These are the hands of your partner, your lover, your best friend, your spouse. These are the hands that will be legally allowed to sign your state of New Jersey and your federal income tax. spouse. They are the hands that will be there for you, patting you on the back to cheer you on when you need that little extra oomph. And they are the hands that will hold you in the tightest hug you've ever needed. They are the hands that will release you to do the work that you need to do in the world. But they will always be the hands waiting for you to return. These are the hands that will be there for you from this day forward. These are the hands of your partner, your spouse, your husband, your wife, your lover, your friend, your family. It is with great honor that we bless these hands and that you take them home with you today as your partner and spouse. May they always be rich with tenderness for you as you go forward in your lives together. Amen and blessed be.
Nina and Denise, Avi and Bunny, Peter and Ray, Flo and Linda, Deanna and Joyce, Stephen and Steve, Carrie and Sarah, Francis and Joe. In the presence of your family and friends who have joined you to share this moment of joy, you have declared your deep love and affection for one another. You have affirmed your intention to continue living together, always open to a deeper, richer friendship and life together. You have entered into covenant, intertwining your lives and vowing to respect one another and learn and grow together. Now, in our final act of acknowledgement, by the power invested in you, as a Unitarian Universalist minister and by the state of New Jersey, I pronounce each of you joined in the bonds of marriage, joined in the vows of sacred union. You may kiss one another.